The way cybersecurity is really talked today, I would put it more in an intelligence, economic espionage sort of context. But we do have examples. A Russian hacker shut down a Ukrainian power plant in December of 2015 for a few hours. The U.S., because we have the benefit, we're such an extremely wired society, incredibly vulnerable. And then you add on, the U.S. approach to the economy is largely laissez-faire. Regulation, businesses don't like regulation. And software companies in particular abhor regulation. And they can, I think, rightly point, I would rather be much using my Apple device than if I were trying to rely on a U.S. government device. Apple is great. But this sort of creates this dilemma, I think, within cybersecurity is when does it become national security, to get a little closer to what you're thinking about. And that's unclear because we've got some structural reasons. Business doesn't want to be regulated. But at some point, we've stopped talking about going shopping and e-shopping. We just shop. We've stopped about banking online and going into a branch. We just bank. And the same thing, I think, we're going to stop at some point talking about cyberwar and just sort of talk about war. But these cyber tools give governments and groups the means to attack the United States where they really didn't have in the past. And the U.S. government's been struggling with this for a couple decades. The White House just released a new strategy, but if you look at the strategy on cybersecurity, again, it largely relies on industry to solve these problems, which fits with our political culture and how an economy should work. And so Facebook, this Facebook data compromise of 50 million users, it's Facebook's problem to figure it out. I don't think we've seen any class action lawsuits or anything yet that would go after this, or on Microsoft hasn't been held accountable for data compromises or anything along those lines. At some point they might, and the IT industry might have to behave like other industries in the United States, where auto companies have to live up to certain safety standards before they're allowed to sell cars. States regulate emissions. At some point, IT companies might have to be regulated along those lines. They're doing their best to resist and work with government along those lines. But you see it. Microsoft has been promoting global norms of behavior because they look at governments, not just the U.S., but the Russian, the Chinese, the Iranian, the Saudi, the French, the Israelis. They want them out of the cybersecurity field. And so they've been promoting norms, and that way at least Microsoft can just deal with organized crime and terrorism and individuals, not with governments. But it's its infancy in terms of thinking about this problem. But hopefully it doesn't take a major attack or power outage or loss of banking to get somewhere.